Today we're working on a 2003 Kia Sedona. We'll be changing the 2 serpentine belts that it has. In order to get to the 2 tensioner pulleys, 1 for each belt, you have to pull the tire off. And then you have these little mud shields here. The left one has a 10 millimeter here, 10 millimeter there, and then a little screw clip or pin. The right one has 10 millimeter there, and then a screw clip here. And then this is the front underneath. Let me show you. Right there. There's another screw clip. And then both of those should pop off. So this is the, oh, my hand's in the way. So this is the pulley for the back for the power steering pump for this belt here. So there's a 14 millimeter, 14 millimeter. Those just have to be cracked loose. They don't have to come all the way out. And then right under here is a 14 millimeter, and that's the adjuster screw. So you back that out. This whole thing pivots, loosening this belt. So that's for the back power steering. This is the tensioner pulley for the front, runs the AC compressor, that belt there. So you have a 14 millimeter on the front, that just has to be broken loose, not taken all the way out. And then the tensioner, let me see if I can get underneath. Yeah, right there, it's a 14 millimeter, that's the tensioner. So once you get this loose, then you unscrew that, and then this slides up, releasing tension on the belt, and then it can come off. So 14 millimeter, 14 millimeter. Now with the belt off, you can kind of get the idea of what the tensioners do. So this one just got broken loose, but this is your actual adjustment. And then same on the back, those two just get loose, but the bottom is the actual adjustment. And before you take everything off, I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but kind of get a feel for the tension on the belt. Because when you put it back together, you want to try to mimic that same tension. You want about 1/8 of an inch kind of play in there. You don't want it so tight because you'll wear out these bearings in your various pulleys sooner if it's too tight. But if it's too loose, then you get slip, and then it becomes an issue there too. So you want that nice tension, but not crazy. Okay. Also, when you have it all off, go ahead and spin everything like that one. I don't know if it's like that because it's hitting the case, but just spin everything, make sure all your pulleys sound good, nothing's weird, look for wobble and all that kind of stuff as well. So good inspection before you put the new belts on, because now would be an excellent time to replace anything if needed. Okay, after everything's inspected, you could also give these a good clean if you wanted with some brake clean. Make sure the surfaces are good before you put the belt on. But now we're ready to put the belt on. So we want to put it back in reverse. So we want to put the power steering pump belt on first. And the best way to do that is to put it over the top of the crank pulley first, then over the top of the power steering, then over the top of the tensioner. If you try to put it over the tensioner and the pulley first and then last power steering, it might not fit over very well, or putting it on this first and then the crank pulley last, that won't fit well. So over this, then over this, and then last the tensioner pulley. All right, so this one's on and tensioned. I can show you, it's about an 1/8 deflection, and then if you do back and forth, it's like a 1/4 back and forth. And I'm not like super hard on it, but you'll feel it. But anyway, that's to give you an idea of its movement. Okay, so once that's on, go ahead and tighten these 14 millimeter bolts down, and then we'll move on to the next. So the hardest part of this next pulley is getting it over the alternator and the idler right there, because it does a weird little curve right there that's kind of hard with a new stiff belt. So I like to do it from up top and not underneath. And what I do is I'll snake the belt around the AC pulley, then I'll maneuver it around the alternator. Sorry, it keeps focusing on my hand. And then around the alternator. So first AC pump, then idler pulley, then alternator, and then the rest gets done from down below. And I guess you could do everything from up here really, as far as the routing. So now that that's in, tighten up your tensioner. Kind of do the same thing with the tension on it, and then tighten up your tensioner pulley center bolt, and that's good. Start it up, make sure everything is lined up. I should have said that on the other one too, before you tighten it up, make sure everything fits in its groove nicely and it looks lined up, and then start it up before we put this cover on. Now we can go ahead and put the shields back on. If you need a recall, this shield goes back behind the brake hose, not in front of it. And that has two 10 millimeters and then a push pin. And then the next one fits in, and it has two 10 millimeters, a push pin here, and then a push pin underneath. And that's it. And you put the tire back on and you're good to go until next time they need to be replaced. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.